Hey y'all. Lo and Sam Weinstein. We wanted to make our first video an intro video. I don't know if this is like a standard thing for YouTube, but when I was praying about how I wanted this to start, I really wanted to give you a quick glimpse of who we are and what we stand for and how we got here. And even that's a little tricky because when we were talking about like, well, who are we, right? I think one of the hardest parts about life is trying to articulate who we are, um, who
and
each
what
of
we stand
us,
for.
yeah, who each of us are as people. And I think society has tried to bring it down to where you should have like 3 points of like who you really are. And the beautiful and complex thing about people is that we're very complex creatures, right? God created us in his image. And in different seasons of life, you are the image bearer of Christ and you bear a different image in different seasons. And so as you follow us along, we are going to be evolving, just like I pray and hope that you evolve.
Yep.
So who we are now could be different in 6 months. And
it's definitely way different than it was 6 months ago.
And we really want to teach people as we go along how to embrace the process of evolving, and that you don't have to be tied to a certain identity that you carry for a long time, that it's okay to reinvent yourself as you go.
Change course.
You can change course. You can throw everything out and start over. The world might tell you that that's a little reckless, but it's okay to really try to grasp who God's created you to be. And that's where we're at. I feel like in a lot of areas, we're completely starting over. And then in a lot of areas, we're really refining and fine-tuning some of the areas that we know we are created to be, but we didn't have the courage to go for it before.
Yeah.
So, who are we? Sam and Lo. We're Sam and Lo Weinstein. We're not really that special. We are special, but we're not. We're just normal people who were created to know God and to glorify God, and we're still trying to figure out what that looks like. And if you would have asked us 10 years ago, we were going to make this huge impact and we were going to build multi-million-dollar businesses and we were going to sell them, and that was who we are. And that's not a bad thing. But now who we are people who love to live a little slower. Sam will tell you he kind of went after what he thought part of his purpose was, only to realize maybe it looks a little different. And I want to kind of explore another option.
Yeah, I was definitely gifted in a certain area and I went for it full heartedly. But that gift came from the giver. And I started really worshiping and idolizing the gift more than the giver. I hit every goal that I could possibly hit that I had for myself at a very young age. The Lord blessed me exponentially. And I got to that goal and I was sitting there looking around and I was like, this is not it. I've been sold a lie. Like that was not what I wanted. I had all the things that I thought that I wanted, but it wasn't fulfilling at all. And then,
but at the same time, he always in his heart had this like desire for adventure. But when do people adventure? That's what I want to know. When do people adventure? Because you're in school and then you get married and then you have kids. So when do you really get to like scratch that itch for adventure? So it's something that he always just suppressed. But right now we have a 6 and a 4-year-old and their imaginations are so huge.
Their need for adventure is as big as mine.
And they currently are trying to fly. They're really spending a lot of time trying to figure out how they can like flop and fly. And it's so funny because I remember being that. Like, I remember when I tried for the first time just to jump off a porch with an umbrella, hoping that I could like actually float down. Did anybody else do that?
Not me.
Okay. So there's this like desire to live a different kind of life that everyone always has, but we've always been taught to suppress it. And so that's who we are. We're learning to really live true to who God created us to be. And we got to kind of bob through like the bumpers on at the bowling alley. We're kind of bumping around trying to figure out exactly what that looks like.
Yeah.
I would say that. So who we are, we're Sam and Lo Weinstein. What do we stand for? Christ.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's it. Whatever he wants. Wherever he wants to take us. So part of our adventure on this RV trip is that we don't really have a plan. It's just his plan completely. And that's even like we're talking about bobbing and bouncing off the bumpers at a bowling alley. That's part of what this is. We're learning to hear him more clearly. We're learning just to embrace the moment and be very mindful about the people around us. Be very mindful about who God puts in front of us at a certain time and putting ourselves out there, being bold and not worrying about what we look like to the world.
Or rushing to the next thing.
Correct.
Like, not being so task oriented to like get there and finish all the things that we walk by people who are hurt.
Yeah. It's a beautiful time where we're really getting to slow down and see people. And it's not an easy thing, to be honest. It's fairly difficult. I literally wake up in the morning and I pray, Lord, give me eyes to see like you see, and give us people, put people in our path, and give us the courage to do whatever you would have us do for that person. Give us ears to hear you, so the mouth to say whatever needs to be said to that person. And it really has been truly amazing, the people that God has put in our path, from people who it was their birthday.
Yeah.
To a bar owner who just found Christ and saw us in there and was like, something's different.
Y'all, God, I can't wait to tell you that story. We're going to upload that, how God, we met a couple in Starbucks. We asked them to go to lunch. They picked the place. We show up there and we realize it's a bar. And we're like,
no one knew it was a bar.
Yeah, we're like, we're going to eat lunch here anyway. I feel like God's wanting us to eat lunch here anyway. So we have lunch with them. The next thing you know, we're talking to a guy behind the bar as we're leaving, and it turns out to be the bar owner. And he had just given his life to Christ. So then we took him to dinner that night. And that's what we're doing on this trip. And we'll get there more at the intro video, but
because this is the intro video.
It's intro.
But we're also day 63 of this trip, and we're going to be tripling down the videos. We've been videoing the whole time. We just haven't been uploading.
So my goal, and Sam might have a different goal, and that's beautiful. My goal for viewers is that, I'm a crybaby, so just be ready, I'll cry, is that you would come alive. I hope that we would speak so much courage and excitement into you that you would allow yourself to really go after your biggest dreams. And sometimes those dreams look like, I talked to a girl this week where her dream was just to really embrace being a mother and just to stay content in that and not feel like she needs to do more. That is the most beautiful goal.
Beautiful.
I want to encourage you to be a mother. Like, it goes so fast.
And a father. It's okay to be a father. It's okay to be somebody who, no, I can't work late. My son has a basketball game. That's okay.
Yeah.
You only have X amount of time. And so another little snippet about me. I used to hunt. If duck season was open, I was in a duck blind. That's just what it was. I had my little girl and I was sitting in a deer stand, and I literally felt the Holy Spirit say, you have less than 1,000 Saturdays until she's 18, can do whatever she wants. And I stood up, got down, got on my bike, loaded it up, and went home. And I was like, this isn't worth it. There's 1,000 Saturdays.
And so that's the bumping part, right? And for a little bit, he didn't know how to articulate to other people what was going on with him. They just thought Sam had jumped off the deep end and just doesn't go hunting anymore. And
they probably thought my wife was the one who was keeping me at home.
Correct. But instead, he had this like big weight on his heart where he's like,
I want to be a dad, and I want to be the best dad I could possibly be.
Is that okay? I remember him being like, is it okay that I feel so called to being a father that nothing else satisfies me? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you still got to work, right? I don't know. I'm like, isn't it good for you to have a hobby? Yeah. Yeah, maybe you should still have a hobby. And then as we leaned into it, it's like, no, it's a lot of pressure to keep a hobby. When he was at a hobby, when he was just really wanting to be with us. So then it was like, permission to figure this out. Forsake your hobby. I'd rather you look back in life and regret not hunting as opposed to look back on your life and regret not showing up for them.
And I always knew, and even if it doesn't happen, it's fine. What it is happening now, that my little girl would want to hunt one day, and that's when I'll get back into it. Because I still do love hunting. I love being in the woods. It's just what this trip is. We're in the woods a lot, like seeing God's creation. And last year, Lily said, Dad, I want to go hunting. And she loves squirrel hunting, which is one of my favorites. And Abraham came with us, and they just had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. And it brings that extra, just so much to it. But then watching their face on this trip,
Yeah.
like watching their face on this trip, like everybody said, wait till they're older, they won't remember it. And I'm like, no, I want to show them the Grand Canyon when it's still just a big hole in the ground. Like I want to show them a waterfall when they're like, whoa, let's throw these rocks in the water.
Yeah.
Like we sat on a bridge in Ponca, Arkansas for a whole day. Throwing rocks in the most beautiful water I've ever seen.
And we had to fight. We have to fight these like adult inclinations.
Like, no, we got to get on this trail. We got to go see this waterfall. And they're like, no, they are perfectly content right here. Why are we not?
So good. So that's who we are, what we stand for, and what we hope that you get out of following us. That's it. So Lo and Sam, we hope that you follow and subscribe and
hit the little bell so everybody says.
Okay, bell.
Yeah, it notifies them when we post a new video.
Okay, yeah, hit the bell and send us to your friends because.
And comment to where we could talk to you.
Yeah, I love that. I love.
She could talk to you.
I love that. But take people with you. As you're on this journey with us, I want you to take people with you, and I want you to like build these small groups around with your own influence, right, on helping other people come alive. And we want to help facilitate that. But at the end of the day, I want you to remember that you were created in the image of God. There's nothing wrong with you and you're not too far behind. And it's okay to give yourself permission to really go there. And we want you to know that we're going to be authentic and vulnerable, and it might be a little messy and it might be a little embarrassing, but it's all part of the journey, right? And we want to share all of that with you. So we love you. We're excited to have you. And here we go.
Here we go.